Hello and welcome everyone to my channel. This is Muhammad coming to you from Cairo, Egypt. I'm recording a live broadcast of the Artemis 2 moon rocket launch. We are now at the window of minus 50 minutes and 20 seconds, and I'm actually recording this from Cairo, Egypt, on the far side of Earth, away from Cape Canaveral, where it's taking place for the launch. It's April 1st, 11:34 p.m. It's almost midnight in Egypt. It's actually raining outside. I've been going through some information about the Artemis 2 rocket, and it seems to be a 10-day test flight that will be performed as a free return trajectory around the moon and then reaching approximately 4,700 miles beyond the lunar far side before returning to Earth. We have four astronauts: Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Henson. So it's actually the first time ever in history that we have a woman astronaut going around the moon and back to Earth. Right now we're watching live broadcast, and this is the first astronaut, Reed Wiseman. Very exciting moments, guys. I can't believe my eyes. And I can't believe that I have an astronaut's feet right before my nose. Look at the console. My God. Imagine the kind of training that those astronauts had to go through. Here we have Victor Glover, the second astronaut. There is the third astronaut. So I've got some technical information on the rocket for you guys. The Artemis 2 mission uses a space launch system. That's why they call it the SLS. On the screen now, I think you can see the fourth astronaut, Jeremy Hansen. I think he's the Canadian astronaut, if I'm not mistaken. So the SLS is in its Block 1 configuration. It's currently the most powerful operational rocket in the world, standing 322 feet tall, roughly the height of a 30-story building. There is a technical breakdown of the Mega Moon rocket. There is the first core stage. They call it the Orange Tower, the one we can see right in the middle, the centerpiece of the rocket, which is, 212 feet tall. Wow. Which serves as the backbone of the SLS. The propellant holds a massive 700,033 gallons of super chilled liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. The rocket is liquid fuel, not solid fuel. The engine is powered by 4 RS-25 engines. They are actually refurbished Space Shuttle main engines. I didn't know this part. Space Shuttle engines. They actually took him and installed them on the SLS. Specifically for this mission, they have been upgraded with new controllers and insulation to handle the higher speed of the SLS. We're watching the Space Shuttle as well. Other daring missions that the astronauts made before. The Boeing crew. Super exciting, guys. The burn time for the 3 engines would fire for 8 minutes to get the craft into orbit before the core stage is jettisoned. The solid rocket boosters, the white side pipes that you can see on the right and left side, flanking the core stage are 2 5-segment solid rocket boosters, or being known as SRBs. The thrust it provides 75% of the total thrust during the first 2 minutes of the flight. The power of each booster generates 3.6 million pounds of thrust and more than 14 4-engine jumbo jet combined. Difference from the shuttle, while it's based on a shuttle design, these boosters have an extra 5th segment, providing about 25% more total impulse power. Then we go to the upper stage. The core stage is separated, and then we have the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, or the ICPS, taking over the flight. The engine uses a single RL-10 engine. The primary job of this upper stage part is translunar injection, or known as TLI burn, which is the big push that breaks the crew out of Earth's orbit and sends them on a trajectory towards the moon, the final stage. Then we have the Orion spacecraft, and the very purpose of this mission today is to test the Orion spacecraft. However, there is no actual humans to land on the moon on this mission. I suppose it will take place on a later mission around the years either 27 or 2028. Going back to the Orion spacecraft, the power and life support, the ESM built by Airbus, has 4 solar arrays that generate enough electricity to power 2 average homes. It also stores the crew's oxygen and water. The propulsion is ESM has its own orbital maneuvering system and another shuttle engine installed onto it with 32 smaller thrusters for precise steering in deep space. The total liftoff thrust 8.8 million pounds, and the maximum speed is going to be 24,500 miles per hour on Mach 33. The payload to the moon is 27 metric tons, and the height of the rocket is 322 feet, roughly 98 meters. I'm saying wow right now and before.
And so Mission Control Houston will control the flight of Orion after liftoff here at Kennedy Space Center. Here's Gary Joyner, who's embedded with that team. Gary, you might have to pause because we did just hear a call out to the commander in Orion.
Everyone are on their toes right now. So the background sound that you're hearing is actually the control command center communicating with the astronauts inside the capsule. T minus 38 minutes and counting. Very sight of the rocket is absolutely fascinating. I've got some information on the astronauts. So the first one is Reed Wiseman, the commander of the mission, a US Navy captain and test pilot. Wiseman is the driver and the leader of the mission. His experience, he spent 165 days on the ISS, the International Space Station, in 2014. The social astronaut. During his first mission, he became famous for being the first person to ever post a Vine, which is a looping video from space. Let's pause for a minute. She's explaining now the stages of the SLS. That's the upper stage.
13 astronauts in 1970. They were 248,655 miles away from Earth, and this Artemis 2 crew might surpass that on flight day 6 when they fly around the moon by more than 4,000 miles.
Yeah, it's a long ways. It's tough to fathom 250,000 miles from Earth, right? I mean, space, the space station is only 250 miles, and so we're going, I don't want to do public math, but we're going much further than that. But it's important, right? Because we want to get back to the moon. We want to see the surface. We want to see the far side of the moon, and the way we do that is by breaking distance records.
Yeah, and the exact distance record depends on exactly when they launch, like the time, the day. So we'll learn more as we go into this 10-day mission with the Artemis 2 crew. But here we are, 32 minutes, 50 seconds and counting from the opening of our launch window. It feels really, really surreal here as more and more people come together.
Going back to the astronauts, guys, so his role, Reed Wiseman is responsible for the overall success of the flight and managing the crew's timeline. And, Scarlett Johansson too. Let's listen to this one. Hollywood celebs. Stanley. Hey, the Blade Runner hero himself. I haven't watched Hail Mary yet, Operation Hail Mary by Ryan Gosling. I'm hoping it's a good one. Minus 30 minutes and counting.
Okay, and as we look at this live view of the rocket on the pad, there is...
Look at the rocket, such a massive rocket. Now we have the second astronaut, Victor Glover, pilot, a naval aviator with over 3,000 flight hours in 40 different aircraft. He's the first person of color to leave Earth's orbit. So not only that we have a woman astronaut, we also have a man of color, Victor, who is also previously a pilot himself. The first Operation SpaceX Crew Dragon mission, Crew 1, and he went to the ISS in 2021. Victor is known for his technical precision. He will be performing the manual piloting proximity, to see how the Orion spacecraft handles in deep space. This is a very delicate part. Then we have Christina Koch, an electrical engineer by trade. She's arguably one of the most experienced astronauts in the world regarding long-duration flight. She holds the record for the longest single space flight by a woman, 328 days. Participated in the first 3 all-female spacewalks. Background in building scientific instruments for space missions like the Juno probe to Jupiter. She's the primary mission specialist, managing the complex internal systems and life support of the Orion capsule. Everyone is excited. Then we have the last astronaut, Jeremy Hansen, mission specialist, a colonel in the Royal Canadian Air Force. He represents the international partnership of the Artemis program between Canada and the USA. Interestingly, this is the first trip to space for Jeremy. It's rare for an astronaut to have a first flight and off to the moon, actually. This is astonishing. He has been an astronaut since 2009 and he's considered one of Canada's most elite pilots. He's the first non American to ever travel to the lunar vicinity. He's tasked with ensuring the international scientific goals of the mission that they are to be met. There is the integrity call sign. I suppose integrity was the name of a spacecraft. They say that the crew named their Orion capsule Integrity. Traditionally, astronauts name their spacecraft to give it a personality for radio communications. This is more like the lunar lander module back with Saturn V, and three astronauts in 1969 called it Eagle. I think they chose a name for Apollo 13, which was Odyssey. You might see this one with the Tom Hanks movie, Apollo 13. Um, the astronauts named their spacecraft to give it a personality for radio communications. So when the mission control would be addressing the capsule and the astronauts, the call sign would be integrity. This follows in the footsteps of Apollo names like Eagle, Columbia, and Charlie Brown. The launch is happening in just a few hours. Well, this is kind of an old article. Um, yeah, yeah, interesting. What you see behind them is the assembly building where they put the pieces of the rocket together, and that's where they pulled the rocket back in a very long journey that took hours actually to pull the rocket from the launch pad to the assembly building where they had to fix some of the heat shielding, and that's why the mission was postponed a week ago. I will pause the recording now and I'll come back when it's 10 minutes before launch. I'll see you then. Bye bye.